Buenos días a todos. Quiero agradecerles por acompañarnos el día de hoy en este evento. Mi nombre es Alejandra Zapata y hago parte del equipo de Consejería Académica y Relaciones Internacionales de Colfuturo. Hoy iniciamos la semana con University of East Anglia, con la cual tenemos una beca del 100% en el valor de la matrícula. El día de hoy, Mark, quien es representante de la universidad, nos estará contando más información acerca de la beca, acerca de la universidad y también de la oferta académica. Entonces, los invito a que si a lo largo de la charla les va surgiendo dudas, preguntas, pueden ponerlas en el cajón que está en la parte inferior de Q&A para que al final Mark pueda responder todas sus dudas. Adicionalmente a esto, aprovecho la oportunidad para invitarlos a seguirnos en nuestras redes sociales, en Instagram, en Facebook y en Twitter, para que puedan ver toda la programación, todos los eventos que tenemos esta semana. Por ejemplo, el día de hoy a las 6 de la tarde tendremos una charla acerca de todos nuestros convenios, cómo acceder a ellos. El día de mañana vamos a tener una charla sobre cómo escribir el ensayo de Colfuturo y a lo largo de esta semana, a las 10 de la mañana y a las 5 de la tarde, también estaremos con algunas universidades con las que tenemos convenios y becas del 100%. Entonces, la invitación es para que nos sigan en la página web y en nuestras redes sociales para que estén al tanto de toda la programación. Mark, thank you so much for joining us, for your time. You can start, please.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, and welcome everyone. Thank you for your attention today. So my name is Mark Bentley. I'm from the University of East Anglia, which for short we say UEA, and I'm from the UEA Global Recruitment Team. And today I'm going to talk to you about just a basic introduction of the university, and then talk about the location, the campus, and the facilities at the university. I'm going to talk a little bit about making your application and the application process. And then I'm going to talk a bit more about the admission and getting your offer, as well as the admission requirements and all of that side of things. Then I'm going to talk about fees, scholarships, of course, including, importantly, Colfuturo and living costs as well. And I'm going to finish up by telling you a little bit about how you can find out more. So some quick facts about UEA, just to introduce you to the university in case you don't know us already. We were founded in 1963, so we're quite a young, modern university compared to others in the UK. We're top 5 in the UK according to the Complete University Guide, top 200 according to the Times Higher Education. We have gold for teaching according to the UK Toefl, which you may have heard of, which is a ranking that prioritizes teaching of universities. It's a UK government ranking. We have 3 Nobel Prize winners so far. Maybe you can be the future Nobel Prize winner even. And Sarah Gilbert is a graduate. Amongst many famous graduates is Sarah Gilbert. And I'm not sure if you've heard of her before, but she's quite well known in the UK because she was the lead scientist that developed the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine. So she studied at UEA back in the 1980s, and she always talks very positively, very fondly about her experience with us. So some of you listening in have probably been to England and some of you probably haven't. We are located in Norwich. You can see there on the map, it's spelt with a W in the middle of it, but you don't need to pronounce that W. It's just pronounced Norwich. If you follow English football, you might know Norwich City is in and out of the Premier League, hopefully staying up again this year, we'll see. But Norwich is about 2 hours from London, well, less than 2 hours by train, between 1 hour and a half and 2 hours, and just over 1 hour from Cambridge, which I'm sure you've heard of as well. You can see Norwich has an airport. I mean, that is a very small airport, but it does have a very regular connection to Amsterdam. So there's a KLM flight to Amsterdam. So for example, you can get a one-ticket flight from Bogota to Amsterdam and transfer in Amsterdam, which is a very nice airport, by the way, and then 35 minutes in the air and you're in Norwich, 10 minutes or 15 minutes away from the campus by taxi. So that makes things quite easy. But of course, lots of students would come into Heathrow or Gatwick, and there are direct links. For example, from Heathrow, there's a direct bus right to our campus as well. So we're in this kind of east and south part of the UK. The UK's weather is famous for being, you know, foggy and rainy. So it is a small country, as you know, and it's not as if we have, you know, lots of different climates within our country. But in general, in the south, it's a little bit warmer, and in the east, it's a little bit drier, and, you know, less wind, less rain, basically. So we have some of the better weather in the UK. It's a little bit nicer than most places. And we have some beautiful countryside and coastline in the areas around our city of Norwich. So this is the city of Norwich, and this is one of the historical areas of the city. It is a very historic city. And you might think, well, that looks more like the countryside, or that doesn't look like a, you know, a city that's got much there, but actually it has. So many of the buildings are still very traditional. We don't have big skyscrapers like I see in Bogota, for example. It's a low-rise city, but it's a very kind of British atmosphere, very historic city. The building you can see in the center there is a 900-year-old cathedral, and it's one of two cathedrals in the city. The other one is on the right there. And on the left, you can see the square building there. That's a castle. So that's also a very historic castle and has a shopping mall underneath it. So the city centre really has this very traditional British atmosphere. And it's not a huge city, but it does have lots of shopping, lots of cultural activities. It has, you know, for example, several, I think 4 or 5 cinemas, many theatres, large department stores, smaller independent shops as well. A really nice market, which you can just see a little bit on the right, the kind of the edge of the market there, which has some really great food, international food stalls, as well as lots of other stuff. So it's a great city. It's not a huge city, so it's a city where you can get to know it, you can feel comfortable quite quickly. So that is the city of Norwich, you know, according to Google Maps. And you can see UEA is on the edge of the city. So that's about 15 or 20 minutes away by bus. And there's a very regular bus between the city centre and the campus. So if we just zoom in a little bit more on the campus, you can see it's a very green space. And we have a lake on the campus. That's the University of East Anglia Broad. And we have the sports facilities there. But also you can see on the left of the picture, we have a hospital, so that's the 6th largest hospital in the UK. And we also have a research park. So this is all part of the university community, together with the research park, the hospital, and UEA campus. We make up the Norwich Research Park. So we're all part of the same community, basically. So this is another picture of the campus. You can see the lake again there. And you can see it really is a beautiful environment, very green space. And most of what you can see on the picture is part of the university campus, okay? So some of the green space is on the left, but that's a public park. And then at the lower side of the picture, that is all green space that belongs to the university. So that is all there for students to enjoy as well. We have everything you need pretty much for everyday life. So of course that includes a supermarket, post office, shops, cafes, laundrette. We have a medical center and dentist on the campus. Everything that you need pretty much for everyday living, and accommodation on the campus as well. So not all of the students would live in university accommodation, but if you do, you don't really need to leave the campus. You know, you should do sometimes, but you don't really need to from day to day. It's very convenient in that sense. And we have study facilities which include a 24-hour library, 24 hours a day, every day of the year, even Christmas Day. I hope you're not there on Christmas Day, but that's open throughout the year, 24/7. We also have, you know, the different departments of the university are very kind of interspersed. So it's not as if we would separate, say, the business school lectures from the School of Chemistry lectures. You may have lectures and classes anywhere on the campus, and it's very much integrated in terms of the departments and the way that you'll see your teachers around the campus, your professors, and you'll be able to see, your friends that are studying other subjects. It's a very integrated community. But not only do we have things that you need for everyday living and all of the study facilities, but we have lots to enjoy as well on the campus. So I mentioned the green space, the lake. We also have fantastic sports facilities. So the largest indoor sports center in the country. That includes an Olympic-sized swimming pool. It includes a climbing wall, athletics track, as you can see, squash courts, badminton, almost any sport you can think of, really, it's possible to do there in the sports park. It's not completely free, but it is very good value for money. As students, you would get the basic membership for free. And then depending on how often you use the sports facilities, I know some people like to go for a swim every morning. You can get the level of membership that makes sense for you for an affordable price. We have the Students' Union as well. So something that's quite unusual for you guys as Colombians maybe is that in the UK, we have bars, we have nightclubs on the campus. So you can enjoy a drink with your friends, you can enjoy live music on the campus. So in the past, we've had artists like Taylor Swift, we've had Coldplay 2 times, Snoop Dogg, Foo Fighters, they've all been to our campus before. So this is a place where it's 24/7, you might be studying in the library at midnight, or you might be watching a gig in the Students' Union. You can see in the bottom left-hand corner of the picture, there's an art gallery, and that is an amazing facility as well, free for students. And I'll tell you a little bit about that in a minute. This is the campus kind of from another viewpoint there. And you can see some of the facilities around the campus there. You can see the Olympic-sized swimming pool that I mentioned. So the art gallery, this is called the Sainsbury Centre for Visual Arts. It's designed by Lord Norman Foster, who is the most well-known architect in the UK and well-known globally as well. He's designed, parts of Beijing Airport. He's designed a lot of famous buildings around the world. But this one houses an amazing collection of art. It's on our campus, and the permanent collection is free for campus, free for students. It also has visiting exhibitions as well. And its claim to fame is that it was actually used in the Avengers movie. So you can see, it's particularly in Avengers Assemble, you can see a few scenes that were shot on our campus in the art gallery. And even in some of the later films, it's included pictures and shots that were taken of our campus. So we're very, happy about that little claim to fame there. So the university and the topics we have, or the subjects we have 4 faculties. So you can see we have most kind of subject areas covered in some sense. For Colombian students and Colfuturo students, a lot of them would be very interested in international development, economics. Sometimes we've had Colombian students come to study law with us as well. So there's those social science. Business is definitely a big one too, but also topics like language and communication, data science. In our School of Computing, we have a MSc Data Science. So those areas are very popular for Colombians these days. We are world famous for creative writing. So if you have an interest in that, we have the Masters in Creative Writing, the first one in the UK. And one of our graduates, Kazuo Ishiguro, is a Nobel Prize winner. So we're very proud of creative writing. Also, a subject I did mention was environmental sciences. So very strong in that as well. One of the first universities in the world to really research climate change and climate research back in the 1960s. So we're very strong in that field too. But as you can see, a wide range of subjects. And if you have a particular interest in a particular area, or even if you've been looking at a particular course already, please do ask at the end, and I'll be really happy to try and offer to give a little bit more detail about your course or the master's degree or postgraduate research PhD that you might be interested in. So if you're searching for a master's course, for example, it might be a good idea to look at our course finder if you haven't already. And from there, you can see a wide range of courses that may be of interest to you. If you're interested in the subject, try one or two different search terms around it. We may not have the exact title that you had in mind, but there might be something else that you're interested in. And you can filter by postgraduate, full-time. You can filter by department. You can also look at PhD specific projects on there as well. So definitely would recommend the UEA course finder. And if you're looking at a particular master's program, this tends to work better on a desktop or laptop, but you can actually see the requirements for the course modules I'd really recommend. So as you may know, modules in the UK basically means classes, and you can see the list of modules available, compulsory modules, optional modules, and you can click on them to see more detail about the modules of any given master's course. So definitely that's worth looking at. And then also obviously you can apply from that page as well. It's an online application. Okay, so in terms of the requirements, the usual academic requirements, so from Columbia, we're usually looking for a GPA of at least 3.5 out of 5. We don't usually require work experience. And as you may know, in the UK, a lot of courses are quite open to students who haven't studied that subject before. So we have courses at UEA, for example, if you have studied a particular subject, and others if you're new to the subject. So it's definitely worth keeping an open mind. I mentioned international development before, so most of our postgraduates for that area haven't studied the subject before. So we're definitely flexible in many of our courses in that sense. And then for PhD, again, we'd usually be looking for at least 3.5 out of 5 or equivalent. Most of our PhD students would have already done a master's usually, but it's not absolutely essential for us. But what is essential is that people coming in to do a PhD have some kind of academic research experience during the degree or master's or both. And IELTS requirements are usually a little bit higher for PhD. But just to give you an idea, these are the postgraduate taught, so the master's English language requirements. So these are the standard requirements. Of course, some courses will have higher requirements, but these are the standard ones. We accept IELTS, we accept Toefl IBT, and we accept Duolingo as well, which can be done online. So you can see a much longer list on our website of English language courses that we accept. You don't need to have these qualifications when you apply. It's very normal for you to apply without and then receive a conditional offer. That's absolutely fine. We do have pre-sessional English as well, by the way. If you're a little bit under the requirement, you can arrive early and do pre-sessional, although I don't think that's possible to do with Colfuturo funding. But yeah, just to give you an idea about the English language requirements there. And then in terms of the tuition fees, obviously, many of you will be hoping to gain Colfuturo funding, but this would, of course, affect the funding that you would need to pay back in some part. So the fees kind of reflect our ranking. I think that when you look at UK tuition fees, you'll see that there is quite a reflection in terms of the higher ranked universities are the most expensive, and the lower ranked universities perhaps are more affordable. For us, our fees are 18,500, and that would include development or subjects, in the social sciences or humanities, international relations, for example. And then you have the sciences, which is 22,400. and then particular prices for a business. And you can see the postgraduate research, which would be PhD. You can see the prices there as well. So in terms of scholarships, of course, we're Colfuturo partners, and we're pleased to say 100% fee waiver to one Colfuturo beneficiary. So we're very kind of happy to be able to offer that. And then even if you're not selected for that one, you would actually have 25% discount from your tuition fees. And if you're a PhD student, that would be 20%. Okay, so that 100% scholarship applies for master's students. To be honest, we haven't had lots and lots of Colfuturo students these past couple of years. So if you're getting interested in UEA and you're applying for Colfuturo, you would have a very real chance of receiving that 100% fee waiver. We're not one of the universities, for example, I know London School of Economics, LSE, they have lots and lots of Colombian students each year, and I'm sure lots of Colfuturo students. UEA, we're increasing the number of Colombians for sure. We're getting more popular, we're getting more well known, but everybody who applies through Colfuturo would have a real chance to receive that 100% fee waiver. There are other scholarships and discounts as well. So for example, we have an automatic UEA Columbia award of 4,000 to 5,000. So that can, be similar sometimes to the 25%, depending on whether you get 4,000 or 5,000, depending on your fee. So that is for students that are self-funded or Colfuturo funded. Okay, so our promise is that we'll give a discount to 25% for all master's students coming through Colfuturo. But it may be, for example, if you're awarded £5,000 because you have a high GPA, then if that's larger than 25%, then you would get the 5,000. So as is the case with all of our scholarships, sometimes we will award you more than one, but we will always kind of replace the larger one with the smaller one. So we'll always assume that you want the larger scholarship, and that usually cancels out the smaller scholarship. We do have other scholarships as well for specific subjects. So we're expecting economics to have scholarships soon to be announced. We're expecting law and also business, the business school, to have scholarships to be announced. But one that's already announced is the international developments. And we have 3 international development scholarships just for Colombians, and they are worth £8,000. So whether or not you do secure Colfuturo funding, you're very welcome to apply for the International Development Scholarship if you're going to be studying development. And for example, we have lots and lots of courses in climate and development, or media and development, or education and development. And we have £8,000 just for 3 Colombians in discount from that subject area. A range of PhD studentships available, if I can get that word out, online as well. So they're worth keeping an eye on if you're interested in a PhD. And also would say that for anyone looking at these scholarships, do keep an eye on our scholarship finder, and then you can just see some of the scholarships maybe that are not there yet will appear later in the coming months. So in terms of the living costs, I'm sure this is of interest to everyone. And basically the UK government, when you're applying for your visa, they are saying that you need £1,023 per month for courses outside London. So there is definitely a big difference in living costs. I'm sure everybody would agree. There's a big difference in living costs between London and outside London. And the main reason for that usually is the accommodation cost. So when you study in the UK, accommodation is going to be your biggest cost. It might be more than half of your spending any given month. For many students, it's more than half, or approximately half. and the accommodation in London can be about double or more than double sometimes of the accommodation outside London. Of course, there are exceptions. That's not always the case, but that's very often the case. So the UK government say you need 1,023 per month to live as an international student. On the British Council website, there's a Which student calculator. So Which is a very famous organization here, which does reviews of different projects and different products and services. And they do a student calculator, which will tell you the average cost for any university. So you might look at University of East Anglia, UEA, you might look at, I don't know, Bristol or Sussex or any university. They'll give you their estimate of the cost. And UEA looks quite cheap compared to others, quite affordable. It's just £755 per month, according to them. So yeah, this information can change, but it's true as of today. So in terms of finding out more about the UEA and the courses, the campus, everything, you can definitely do that online. We have a dedicated Columbia page on our website where you can find out more. We also have a facility Ask Us where you can speak to students, you can speak to staff, and you can find them based on your interest. So we'll definitely recommend those resources. There's frequently asked questions on our website as well for international students, and particularly, during the last couple of years, during the pandemic, this has been really useful because things change quickly. There's different regulations about studying, about traveling to the UK. So this has been really useful for us to keep our students updated. Is worth keeping an eye on. Just on this topic, yeah, most of the teaching right now is in person, face-to-face. In the past, we've had online teaching. Some classes we still do have online teaching, but our intention is to have, all or most of the classes face-to-face. We think that's what we offer best, and that's what we focus on. So we're pleased to say for now, at the moment, most of the classes are face-to-face. And in terms of getting in touch with me, you can book an online appointment with me if you like to have a video call. You can find me on Ask Us as well, and we can keep in touch there via a text chat, a bit like WhatsApp, or you're very welcome to email me as well. So I'll be really happy to hear from you. It's my job to help you basically, and I'm really pleased if you have an interest in UEA. I'll try my best to do all I can. So I think that's all from me, Alejandra, and I hope we might have some questions.
Thank you so much, Mark. We have 2 questions. Angela asked, can I accept if I got the overall mark of Toefl, but my mark on the writing part is not as high?
Not usually, there may be very occasional exceptions, like if you're just 1 point away. Sometimes they can be flexible, particularly if you have like work experience or some other evidence of your English. But generally, no, we're quite strict on that usually, to be honest, I'm afraid.
Okay. When will people learn about the scholarship? I mean, if people got it or not. Okay,
so, well, I mentioned an automatic scholarship for Colombians of £4,000 to £5,000. That one is quite simple. So that one, you apply for the course, and if you get an offer for the course, you'll also get an offer for that scholarship. So that one is automatic, and it's kind of as soon as you get the offer, basically. So for other ones, they should list online and have a process. So for example, for the developments scholarships of £8,000, I think their deadline to apply is the beginning of June. And then usually you would find out, 1 or 2 weeks after the deadline, if you were successful or not.
Is there some scholarship for accommodation?
No, I'm afraid not. So all of the university scholarships, I think all of the ones that apply for Colombians, they're just covering tuition fees. So it's a maximum of 100% tuition fee scholarship. We don't usually give more than that. So all of our UEA scholarships are just covering the actual fees, not accommodation or other living costs.
I haven't taken the Toefl test, but I can start the admission process without it, right?
Absolutely, yes. That's very normal. And I would encourage you to do that, because sometimes I speak to students who I can understand the way of thinking that you want to prepare everything before you apply, but actually it's much easier just to apply, just to start the process. Then you know what you need, and you can concentrate on, for example, your English preparation after you have an offer, from us. So we're not going to kind of judge you any differently. We'll look at your academic background. We might not know anything about your English, but you can apply and we'll give you a conditional offer. And that will be a good situation for you to be in.
What's the criteria to apply to the 100 scholarship?
Okay, good question. So basically you would apply for Col Futuro as normal. And I'm sure, Alejandro, you're the expert on that, not me, but I understand the deadline is soon. And basically, out of the people who are selected for UEA, there might be one. If you're lucky, you might be the only one, or there might be two, or there might be 7 or 8. It's not going to be a huge number, but hopefully, I hope there's going to be many of you that are coming to UEA with Col Futuro. Basically, out of those people who are selected, let's say 5 people are selected, the person who has the highest score in terms of Col Futuro's system of rating you, the person who has the highest score would usually be the person who is offered the scholarship. Okay, so that means, there's not usually too many students coming for UEA. So if you're successful in getting Col Futuro scholarship, you have a good chance of getting 100% tuition fee discount at UEA.
Exactamente. Monica asked, I'm interested in the science department. I study microbiology. There is an option to be a laboratory assistant or something like that to earn money or has a discount?
It can be possible, but I think compared to Latin America, it's not as common, to be honest. So sometimes it can be possible to get a research assistant job or a tutoring job, an assistant tutor job as well, if you have good experience in that area. But it's not something to be relied on, to be honest. However, you can definitely find other kinds of work whilst you're in the UK. And this can help you. So for example, our pay is about almost £10 per hour is our minimum pay. So this can definitely help you financially. And it can be quite a good experience, So for example, in Colombia, maybe you wouldn't usually want to take a job in a cafe or a bar or a supermarket. You wouldn't want to do that. You wouldn't want to work in a Starbucks, possibly in Colombia. But here, the pay is good to do that. And you can actually meet people you wouldn't usually meet. And you can, practice your English, get more confident, so it can be a great experience to actually take one of those part-time jobs, even if it's not professional job or not in your particular area. And that is usually quite easy. Times are changing a lot these days because of COVID, but for now, and usually those jobs are quite easy to find. You can work for 20 hours per week under your student visa anywhere, on campus, off campus. That's completely fine in the UK.
Mm-hmm. Where can I get a little more information about the data science master?
Okay, so if you just search on our website, uea.ac.uk, and on the right-hand side of the screen, you'll see a course finder. If you just punch data into there, you'll see it. You should see it come up. So the MSc Data Science, you can then see the course, and on the left you can see modules, and click into that. Especially, yeah, I think there's a problem right now with those course pages on a mobile. You don't always see the requirements or the modules come up, but yeah, definitely on the laptop or a desktop, that's a lot easier to see. You can see so much info there. If you wanted to speak to a student or a staff member as well on UEA, Ask Us, you can do that too. So you can find a student that's studying computing. You can click in the staff section, and I know there's at least one, I think maybe 2 or 3 staff who teach in the School of Computing as well. So definitely would, I definitely would recommend try and speak to students that are doing that. I think we have a few Colombians right now. So yeah, it is a popular area, and we do have a long background in that area. I think we were one of the first universities to offer a master's in that course, but at the time it was a different title, different degree title. So definitely would recommend that area for you, and find out more if you can. If all else fails, just contact me as well. I'll be more than happy to help.
Mm-hmm. When is the final date for the Toefl if I haven't taken it?
So we don't have a particular deadline, to be honest. We usually, like, if you're conditional, like you don't take the Toefl, you apply without, and you should receive an offer that's conditional on English. Then you can submit the English right up, even August. We start our term in September, and even if it's like early September, sometimes it's possible. We look at how long it's going to take you to get your visa. So if we don't think you have enough time to get your visa, then we won't issue the visa sponsorship. We'll discuss that with you. But as long as you have time to get your visa, and as long as there's still lots of space for you here, then that's absolutely fine. You can send us your Toefl very late. It's no problem usually.
Mm-hmm. Do you have agreements with companies for practice or internships?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. So, the insurance finance company Viva is originally from our city, and we have a lot of partnerships with them, for example. Maybe that's interesting for data science students. We have links with, for development students, we have lots of links around the world with NGOs, governments. So yeah, it depends on your field, basically. But we do have a lot of support for careers. You can access support from our career service for up to 3 years after you graduate. So even if you're back in Colombia, I know people in Colombia that have accessed support to our career service here in the UK and have got help. We have, like, for enterprises, if you're starting your own enterprise, we have support, we have grants, we have funding. If you're applying for a UK company, you can get help with the interview, with the application process, even after you graduate as well. So there is lots of support there. There are lots of opportunities, and some of them are linked to your course, some of them are outside your course, but there's such a lot of investment has been made into our career service. So we'll definitely encourage you to look at that, and yeah, do get in touch with me if you have a more specific question about that.
Mm-hmm. Do the university helps on the visa process?
Yes, absolutely. So if you come to the university, to any university in the UK, they will sponsor your student visa. Okay, so we give you something called a confirmation of acceptance of studies. That's CAS or CAS. And CAS is like the proof of sponsorship, that we're sponsoring you to come to our university. And that CAS is actually, it's kind of a letter, but the most important part is the number that's attached to that CAS. So we give you the sponsorship, and if you have any problem to apply for your visa, that's our problem too. Okay, so the government here records the kind of failed visas or the unapproved visas, visa rejections. They record the number of any visa rejections from any UK university. So UEA has a very low visa rejection rate, and we want to keep it that way. So we don't want you to get your visa application rejected. So we do try and help you. We have people as well in Colombia who can help you if you need. Definitely Culfutura, I know, are very helpful to the students. So if you get Culfutura funding, I'm sure you guys can help as well. So definitely something that you will have support with.
Okay, Mark, we don't have more questions. Thank you so much for the presentation and for all the information. It was very useful.
Good. Yeah, thank you. I hope so. And, you know, for people listening in, wherever you end up studying, just, you know, keep trying to find information, enjoy the whole process, not just thinking about when you arrive, try to enjoy the whole process and all the research you're doing. And whatever happens and wherever you go to study, good luck. And I hope to see you someday in Colombia or here in the UK.
Yes. También recuerden que en los próximos días vamos a estar enviando esta grabación a sus correos electrónicos para que puedan ver y repasar la información que Mark les dio. Adicionalmente también está su correo electrónico y nuevamente los invito a que nos sigan en nuestras redes sociales para que puedan acceder a toda la programación. Thank you so much, Mark. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thanks, everyone. Bye.